In the headlines, President Tinubu declares state of emergency on food inflation and water availability. Couple arrested in Adamawa State for dumping dead infant in dustbin. Court dismisses Economic and Financial Crimes Commission's case against Okorocha. And on the foreign scene, South African court rules against ex-President Jacob Zuma in parole release finding. Hello and welcome to News Update on Trust TV. I am Sagir Ibrahim. Hello and welcome once again. The President has declared a state of emergency on food security, which places all matters pertaining to availability and affordability of food and water as essential livelihood items within the purview of the National Security Council. Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communication and Strategy, Dele Alake, told newsmen at State House Abuja on Thursday that the declaration was in response to the rising cost of food and its negative impact on citizens. Kehinde Amodu reports.
Leading to the inauguration. The cost of living crisis has been a harsh reality in the months leading to the inauguration of the new administration and seemed to have worsened as a result of the administration's economic policies. The administration is admitting that food has been readily available, but the problem has been the affordability of the commodities to many Nigerians in all parts of the country. The drawback from the rising food prices is that there has been a significant drop in demand for food items, which in turn is undermining the viability of the entire agriculture value chain. As a direct and immediate response to this crisis, a number of initiatives will be deployed in the coming weeks to reverse this inflationary trend and guarantee future uninterrupted supplies of affordable food to ordinary Nigerians.
Now, as a direct and immediate response to this crisis, a number of initiatives will be deployed in the coming weeks to reverse this inflationary trend and guarantee future uninterrupted supplies of affordable foods to ordinary Nigerians.
Speech. Part of the savings from the first subsidy removal is what we're using for this intervention. To answer to your question, the distribution will be free to the households and to the farmers.
Part of the immediate response will be the release of fertilizers and grains to farmers and households to mitigate the effects of the subsidy removal, while a national commodity board that will review and continuously assess food prices will be established to maintain a strategic food reserve that will be used as a price stabilization mechanism for critical grains and other food items.
We will immediately release fertilizers and grains to farmers and households to mitigate the effects of the subsidy removal. 2, there will be an urgent synergy between the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Water Resources to ensure adequate irrigation of farmlands and to guarantee that food is produced all year round.
And part of the discussion we've had in our interaction is that going forward, most especially on those trucks that carry food and all those items that are basic needs, it will become illegal for any state actually to continue building roadblocks to collect that. That's why we have the only person is Customs Services that is responsible to charge whether excise duty or import duty.
In the long term, government intends to double the percentage of employment through agriculture from 35.21% as at 2021 to about 70%. Understanding that food and water are the bedrock of survival, the Tinubu administration says it will work assiduously to ensure that Nigerians do not struggle with their essential needs. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Maize is an important staple food commonly used by low-income earners and is gradually becoming an expensive commodity. Price of maize has recently more than doubled making it difficult for common man who relies on it as his source of daily meal. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that the price of fresh maize is also high. Take a look.
According to locals in Kano State, a bag of maize is now sold at about 40,000 naira, compared to less than 30,000 naira within the last couple of months.
Maize is now sold at 43,000 naira per bag, which is very difficult for the poor man to afford.
Dawanau International Market is known to be the largest grain market in Africa, where maize is traded in large volume. Authorities here say the high cost of fertilizer, increase in fuel price, which significantly affect transportation fees, are some of the challenges responsible for the current price hike.
Food crops is now getting a little bit hard because there is a shortage along the way in one way or the other. When it comes to the exported commodity that we're exporting outside, definitely the Forex has to determine the rate of most of the domestic foods. That means that food crops that are related to the export now is getting a little bit high, and invariably the other side of it about the export quality is getting lower, or the price is getting down due to the level of the forex.
Obviously, people have to look for alternative in fresh maize, which is less expensive compared to dry one. But not this year, according to most people trading in fresh maize.
Yes, sir, this year is very cost. This year. Last year, by this time, we buy 16, 17. This year, we are buying 22,000, 23, 25.
In Karpi, hundreds of people are gathered here on daily basis to buy fresh maize, either for roasting or made it to dry before use. However, locals here say even the fresh one is becoming too expensive to afford.
The corn is too costly, and they are not leaving it to dry for farm. They go bring it to watering. We will the buyer. We go to suffer for close and finish. No market.
Where the dry one? No, we can't roll the dry one. Not in any business they for can now just they manage this for nothing. Just they suffer, then they overput the price too much. The thing too they high.
Sourced from irrigation farmers across Kano and Zaria in Kaduna State, this maize, according to traders, becomes expensive for obvious reasons, one of which is the high cost of farming these days.
You know, fertilizer is too cost. Each laborer working in the farms collects 3,000 naira per day. One row cultivation by tractor is 5,000 naira. Talking about cost of seeds and planting itself, which cost about 70,000 naira altogether per one row. Although maize and other food crops from wet season farming are expected to arrive soon, but there is growing concern that things could continue to get complicated in the next coming days. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Still on the hike in maize price, producers of chicken feed are also taking the heat from the increase. Many poultry farmers are either producing at a loss or shutting down their businesses due to constant increase in the price of feed due to the high cost of maize in the market. In this report, Trust TV's Bello Musa examines the effect of the cost of maize on the livelihood of the people and its economic impact in the country. Take a look.
Maize has become a major food in many parts of the world, including Nigeria. Besides being consumed by humans, maize is also used to produce animal feed and other products. Recently, the price of bag of maize skyrocketed in the market, with maize now sold at 43 to 45,000 naira per bag, with the sellers and consumers grumbling over the hike in price. People are in critical conditions due to high increase of a bag of maize. Last week, a bag of maize was sold at 40 to 43,000 naira, and now is 45,000 naira. Farmers cannot go to the farms. That's why we have scarcity of maize, which leads to the hike of price. Poultry farmers are also not finding it easy, as they are now producing at loss due to cost of feed. Buhari Yahaya is a poultry farmer. He said he shut down the business because he is running at loss. The price of feed is high and I've been running at loss. Therefore, I had to shut down my poultry. Maize is a major ingredient used for the production of poultry feed due to its high energy value. However, the persistent hike in the price of maize made the price of feed to keep rising, and it's also affecting production of feed in Kaduna State.
People are no longer coming to me feed like before, and this insecurity, a lot of big farms that are in this Abuja road, that in this Abuja road side, they have closed and they are the major customers. Subsidy, they remove subsidy. The price, the transportation sector, everything in Nigeria is based on transportation.
On the part of maize farmers, insecurity, cost of fertilizer, and disease are some of the factors responsible for the scarce of maize, which also resulted to persistent increase in the price of a bag of maize. In the past, we bought a bag at 4,000 to 6,000 naira, but now it is sold at 22,000 to 28,000 naira. And if you don't apply enough pesticide, disease will destroy your crops. We had to abandon our farm in the forest due to kidnapping, and I am afraid to go there. That is why I am cultivating this farm on the roadside.
The numbers of farmers producing maize cannot meet the demand on maize. How many people are farmers? How many? Even the big time farmers, I tell you, they will not follow all these things. So the production, when you look at the production, even at the harvest time, it's not even enough.
As the harvest of maize is months away from now, the price of maize is still increasing. However, the people are hoping that the price will decrease after the harvest of the produce. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Police in Adamawa State have arrested a 20-year-old girl, Blessing Ben, suspected of killing and dumping the corpse of her newborn baby boy inside a dustbin. The police command said the girl and her boyfriend, Luka Iliasu, are under investigation for the alleged crime. Blessing was put in a family way by her boyfriend, Luka, of police barracks in Yola, Adamawa State, after they fell in love about 2 years ago. The girl, who resides at Jambutu in Yola North local government area, delivered on Saturday, July 8th, and dumped the baby in a dustbin in their compound. However, the suspect has vehemently denied killing the baby while being interrogated by the image maker of the command, SP Suleiman Yahya Nguroje. She said that she had delivered successfully without the help of anybody and that the baby came out lifeless and was left with no option than to throw the corpse in a dustbin. She also said that she has been living with her aunt and that even her aunt did not know that she was pregnant for 9 months until when she gave birth. The suspect further narrated that her aunt was out of town at the time she delivered, saying that when she had discovered that it was a stillbirth, she kept the corpse for 2 days, after which she dumped it inside a dustbin. Also, the corpse of an unidentified woman was on Thursday recovered by personnel of the Kwara State Fire Service from Asa River along Emirs Road in Ilorin, the state capital. The lifeless body of the yet-to-be-identified woman, about 46 years old, was discovered in the evening. According to the spokesman of the State Fire Service, Hassan Adekunle, a police officer, SP Dolakbo, of B Division Police Station, Ilorin, alerted and summoned the State Fire Service to the scene of the incident. The Fire Service expressed its gratitude to SP Dolakbo of B Division Police Station for the prompt response and collaboration with the Kwara State Fire Service. The statement explained that the joint efforts highlight the significance of interagency cooperation in dealing with emergencies effectively. It also noted that the State Fire Service team deserves commendation for the unwavering dedication and commitment to its duties, adding that the exemplary professionalism and swift action in the face of adversity reflected the core values of the fire service and contributed to the safety and security of the community. Also, district heads and communities in Zamfara State have been told to form groups that will protect their communities when there is a distress call before the arrival of troops to the troubled scene of bandit attack. The General Officer commanding 8th Division of the Nigerian Army, Sokoto, Major General Godwin Mutkut, gave the advice while speaking to newsmen in Gusau, the state capital, shortly after the inauguration of the Regimental Sergeant Major RSM House at the Gusau Cantonment. The report.
The General Officer commanding Division 8 of the Nigerian Army, Sokoto, says the troops have been going to troubled places like Zurmi, Shinkafi, Tsafe, Dansado, and other troubled areas in Zamfara State in spite of the rainy season dislodging terrorists from their hideouts. He says the military will not negotiate with bandits but will rather go after them in their hideouts. The GOC advises bandits to come out immediately from their hideouts and surrender to the troops, as that remains the only option available to them.
Before now, there were plenty places would not enter. But as it is now, despite the rain, we are going to places that the bandits ab initio believe we don't have the means of entering those places. There are places surrounding the whole of this Zamfara. All the bushes, nooks and crannies, we've been going there and we've been giving them bloody nose.
Speaking, the commander of 1 Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Gusau, Brigadier General Sani Ahmed, assures the officers and men of the brigade that more infrastructure is coming to better their lives and to also boost their morale.
Other RSM's residents will follow suit, but I tell you, the resolve of the Chief of Army Staff towards enhancing the welfare of our personnel is going to be enduring. Not just the officers' accommodation, not just the regimental sergeant major's accommodation, but even the men. It is a feat that has been achieved in almost all the formations and units of the Nigerian Army.
The GOC of the 8th Division of the Nigerian Army, Sokoto, says the troops have taken the fight to the bandits with a view to restoring peace and stability so that farmers can return to their farms.
A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed the case against former governor of Imo State, Senator Rochas Okorocha, instituted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The court described the EFCC's charges of fraud and abuse of office as an abuse of judicial process. The presiding judge, Justice Yusuf Halilu, premised his judgment on the fact that the EFCC had filed a similar charge against the former Imo State governor at the Federal High Court, a case which was decided upon in favor of the former governor in December last year. You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Still to come. Students work at construction sites to support academic pursuits. This and more when we return.
Welcome to Trust TV, where we document the Nigerian story. Our programming showcases the rich culture and diversity of Nigeria. We strive to amplify the voices that make our nation unique. Our programming is designed to take you on a journey through the different tastes of entertainment in our country. We showcase the best of Nigerian culture, from traditional craft to cutting-edge technology. Our team of expert journalists are dedicated to unveiling the intricacies of our culture and telling the untold stories that binds us all. And let's not forget the food. Nigeria has diverse and flavorful cuisines, some of the favorites to millions across the world. What is Nigeria without its people, their passions and their talent? Trust TV is not just a channel, It's a platform that brings you closer to everything that makes Nigeria great. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is the news update on Trust TV. Now a recap of our major stories. President Tinubu declares state of emergency on food inflation and water availability. Couple arrested in Adamawa State for dumping dead infant in dustbin. Moving on to other stories, Kano State government has faulted the distribution of the federal government's allocation of 500 billion naira through the Bank of Industry to support small-scale industries across the country's geopolitical zones. Governor Abba Yusuf made the complaint during a meeting with representatives from the Kano Cooperative Society at the Government House on Thursday evening. He revealed that the distribution was heavily skewed, with Lagos State receiving 47% of the allocation, followed by the South-South zone with 17% and other regions receiving significantly lower percentages. Yusuf described the distribution mode as unfair, unconstitutional and illegal. He called on relevant authorities and members of the National Assembly to rectify the situation and take appropriate action against those responsible. He said the state government would support cooperative societies in their efforts to alleviate poverty and regain their influence. Also, President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday sent 500 billion naira proposal to the legislature for approval to be distributed as palliative to cushion the hardship of vulnerable Nigerians. Benue resident advised the federal government not to adopt the SureP and COVID-19 templates to disburse the funds. Jimmy Adzande reports.
In Benue, residents appreciate the president for the steps so far taken, but charge the government to ensure that the targeted poor groups get the palliative intervention.
Government can decide 60% of these monies be given to women in business. Not women who supported APC, not women who supported PDP, but women who already have identified within themselves that they have a trade. We've collected a lot of data in Nigeria. You can remember the last rapid response exercise that was done in Nigeria. I supervised Plateau North Senatorial District. We validated the beneficiaries, those that were genuine, those that had multiple, who wanted to cheat the system. We weeded them out completely. And then at the end, the real and genuine beneficiaries got the payments done to them.
Some said the palliative should be targeted at institutions and not individuals.
So, by and large, we hope to see an institutional-based mechanism where the transport system will be taken care of, the educational system will be taken care of, the household support in terms of putting in place avenues where people can afford basic goods will be put in place. I think that if that is done, we will not have the scenario we had in the past.
Others specified that the palliative should not be monetized but targeted at social infrastructure.
Fees of the poor, you can make some level of education free, primary and secondary. This is carry that money, invest it in those places, not saying you want to do transfer. You know, how much would it go? How long will it go? You have a country of 133 people that are extremely poor. So 500 billion would be nothing. How long are you going to do it every month? Are you going to do it annually? How are you going to do it? So it's not, for me, getting that money as palliative is a good thing, yes, but don't do that. Don't do that cash transfer as I suspect they want to do. Invest in infrastructure, in transportation, in railway, and then offset some school fees of some people.
The president told the visiting 1999 governors in the villa on Wednesday that the living conditions of Nigerians will improve once the palliative is distributed. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Students of Plateau State University, Bokos, are engaging in the various construction activities going on in their campus in order to make earnings and support their academic activities. The students from the different departments and across different levels, male and females alike, are seen working at the construction sites. Some of them who spoke to Trust TV advised their other colleagues to join them during the holiday rather than stay idle. Dixon Adama sent in this report as presented from our studio.
After their semester vacation, some of the students decided to stay back and work on new facilities being constructed, as some said their families are not buoyant enough to support all their academic and other pressing needs. So, working on the site will enable them to fend for themselves without entirely depending on others for their upkeep. The facilities being constructed are 1,000 capacity hostel accommodation, ICT center, new faculty buildings, water treatment center, among others. The TED Fund has given a grant of over 1.2 billion naira to the university as normal and zonal intervention for 2023 allocation.
So I decided to involve myself in this, so at least I will help my mom with the workload and also at least help myself with some little things at hand. That's just it.
Because of the challenges we face at home, the country now is hard, so we need to come and work and get something for us to sustain ourselves in school.
Actually, because we need money, our parents cannot give us all our needs. So we are using this money to buy some things that our parents cannot provide for us.
Most of us, we're the one paying our fees and maybe feeding ourselves here in school. And then, life is not actually easy, but you have to do it because you are aiming at somewhere.
Reacting, the University Vice-Chancellor, Professor Bernard Mater, said though many of the students are working on site to earn money, others are, however, doing it as part of the entrepreneurship class, especially those in building department. He, however, said that regardless of the category, any student involved in the construction works still get stipends.
So we have already set up the Entrepreneur Study Center. This Entrepreneur Study Center provides the students opportunity to study in the class and also go out and practicalize what they have learned. So we have introduced Department of Building already, which is a new program in the university. And it will interest you to know that the majority of our students are builders. So that's why students are on break. They decided to stay back so that they can now that skill they are learning from the class to practice.
The Vice-Chancellor also explained that the institution will soon commence new programs as well as postgraduate programs with 4 additional faculties.
Away from Nigeria, South Africa's top court on Thursday rejected an attempt to overturn a previous decision that found former President Jacob Zuma should go back to jail after being released on early medical parole. The Constitutional Court ruling, which could send Zuma back to prison 2 years after his initial arrest, sparked widespread protest that saw at least 337 people killed. The Department of Correctional Services said in a statement that it was studying the judgment and seeking legal advice before commenting. A spokesperson for Zuma declined to comment directly on the ruling and referred any questions to the department, noting that prison officials had sought the review. And that we've come to the end of news update at this hour. Do well to follow us across all of our social platforms. I'm Sakir Ibrahim. Thanks for watching.